Okay, so Sam is back. Everyone is tweeting about how, the mission is stronger than ever before. There is broad consensus that they are not taking socialist approach towards AI. We are very much in a capitalistic world. They want to make profit. Everything's back on track. What's happening in the world of AI? Varun Maya, Sid Bozon, welcome to Overpowered. Hit subscribe, hit like, follow us on Instagram. Any more tasks you guys want? Let me know. Welcome to Overpowered.
So Tanmay, last couple of weeks we did like this episode with Induced, and then we did like a OpenAI drama episode. This week there's so much pent up tool work for us.
Yeah.
That it's gonna be fun covering a bunch of stuff.
We're going to start off with something called Tldraw, which just turns sketches into applications. Sid, what is this about?
So before I get into Tldraw, in the last two episodes that I came on, we checked out a bunch of music tools where you could turn your voice into an instrument or a voice into Shah Rukh Khan's voice, etc. This episode is mostly going to be like very visually stimulating. So there's going to be a bunch of tools where there's text to video, there's text to code, there's text to UI. So it's going to be like a very visual kind of a trip this time. Tldraw is my favorite one that's been blowing my mind a lot. So Tldraw is essentially like this canvas. It's basically a blank canvas. It's kind of like Microsoft Paint. You can basically draw whatever you want. You can draw boxes, you can write text, and you can make anything from a landing page of a website to the UI of an app. You can make a calculator, you can make a game, you can make whatever you want. Whatever you draw, all you need to do is you need to click this button called Make It Real, and as the name suggests, it makes it real. So let's start with a very small example, okay? Let's simply draw a very simple calculator. So this is a simple box.
Can't I just draw with my hand on paper and do it?
If you have an iPad, you can actually do that. So you can actually click on this pencil button and you can just draw and write and, draw like a normal sketch.
Okay. But if you're poor, then you have to use this paintbrush style tool to make it.
Yeah, Tanmay, let's go with that.
I'm not calling you poor, Sid. I'm calling everyone who doesn't have an iPad poor.
Which unfortunately includes me. All right, so now we're done drawing. I've just clicked on Make It Real, and let's see what happens. So something's loading over here. Okay, let's double click to interact.
Okay, so it generated this UI, I guess, for you.
It generated an entire app. You can actually type stuff on it. Let's say 1 + 1. I press enter. You can actually get it. And I did not even type anything like, figure out the logic, or this is multiplication, this is addition. None of that. So it works like a pretty normal calculator. So I can just...
It's built the front end. It's built some logic. I assume the logic is running in the front end as well. Can it also do back end? Then it'll have to build a database and all that funky stuff. Have you tried that?
No, I don't think it can build a backend. It can just build like very basic front-end based apps, which has like pretty simple logic. You can't like come back and save and stuff like that.
The primary use case for something like this will be for personal apps. I think if you want to build an app for yourself where you're like, okay, I need to put these 5 recipes or some very personal use case, you'd use something like this. Just makes your life quite easy.
But if you want to use AI to build something much deeper, including the back end, then you should do the, Gen AI cohort at 100x engineers. What a nice plug.
Yeah, not so subtle.
Not so subtle.
Yeah.
Okay. What else can we build with this, Sid?
So I tried a bunch of other examples also. There's 2 things that really blew my mind. So tell me if you guys can actually identify what this is.
It's a paddle game.
Yeah.
This is that game. Yeah.
Wait. So why did you add comments to this? I can see you written text, right? This is a brick. When the ball touches the brick, it disappears. You win the game and all the bricks have disappeared.
Yeah, correct. So here I needed to basically write everything down because it's got a pretty complex system, right? Like it looks like a simple game, but you have a bunch of rules. Like the balls, whenever the ball touches the bottom wall, you lose a life. But whenever the ball touches any other wall, it has to bounce off. But what happens when it touches the brick? The bricks should actually have to disappear.
Dude, this is the coolest thing ever. So basically you're using GPT vision. It's going to look at this and it's going to write code based on what it's looking at. And you're like, hey, it won't have enough context if I just draw a paddle, a ball, and some bricks.
Correct.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw arrows. I'm going to be like, this is this, this is this, this is this. Now, kar.
Yeah, pretty much. So again, all I have to do is select all of these things, hit on Make It Real.
I'll be mind blown if this works.
All right. So this game is ready.
Okay. It's a breakout game, but this is really cool. The fact that you just drew something and annotated it with like proper text, and you just said "ye banao," and it banaofied it for you. Which
Yeah.
is the pinnacle of everything we want. And I'm just waiting for this to keep getting better.
Does
So
it
I guess
disappear? Oh, it disappeared also. Oh, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Dude, this is pretty cool.
this is impressive.
But I'm pretty sure that the AI is judging us, saying, really, this game, like GTA is launching its next trailer tomorrow. Really, this is what you're playing. But this is pretty insane.
So even a game like GTA, I think at some point AIs will get good enough to be like, okay, this is what you want here, baked and given to you. Because we're also making a lot of progress on the text.
Like, just relax. अभी ये बेसिक टाइल गेम बनाने को 15 मिनट लगा है, तू GTA बनाने को बोल रहा है. Just like this is why people leave hate comments in our on our reels, bro, because of psychotic shit that you say like this. Sagar, keep this part in this reel, okay? Keep this very specific part.
6 months. World is slowly moving towards people who can write well, even though GPT can write. It's like if you can explain to the computer exactly what you want, you can get like super hyper clarity on what you want in the first place. The computer will just give it to you.
It's basically like coding, because in coding, essentially what you do is before you write the actual code, you write pseudocode. And for those of you who don't know what pseudocode essentially is, it's English. So if I want to make a calculator app, I'll do something like, okay, build the calculator UI, make all the buttons, make all the logic. So you just essentially break down everything into steps in English. So working with this tool is kind of like building pseudocode.
It's pretty cool. I think we are now at the era where you had those games in those 1990s computers like this, Dave. There's a bunch of games, right? Which I think now you can just tell the computer do this in English, and you just like label it like you're explaining to a 5-year-old, and it just does it for you. It'll be wrong often, but the time that it does get it right is pretty cool.
I mean, the fact that you can actually just make a sketch like this and get a complete app out of it, it's pretty mind-blowing. It's something that I would have not even thought about last year when GPT 3.5 came out. Do you guys know that it's been exactly 1 year since 3.5 came out?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was last year, December 1st.
What else have you made using this?
Another cool thing that I've made using this is a website page. But I'll show you what the really cool part about that is. So I've just created a simple landing page kind of a thing. Here also I had to like define a few things here and there.
I like that you're cheating by just defining these things. You're drawing arrows and lines.
I mean, see, it reduces the effort rather than, coding everything from scratch and stuff like that. At the end of the day, the acceleration is what matters. So you have, a simple landing page. There's this hero thing. And what I was imagining is this can be like a jobs board of a kind. So here's the picture of the person and here's like the bio or something like that. And then you have like multiple people over here. Now, I click on make it real and it basically gave me an output like this, right? I can actually upload pictures over here and I can actually make it look cool. But the interesting part is when I do this, it becomes mobile responsive.
Oh.
So it doesn't just code for the web.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Just realistically speaking, Varun, how much time is this saving?
See, AI is obviously getting better, and that's great. I feel like if you're building a landing page today, there are plenty of better tools. Like today, at least in the last 4-5 years, when I talk to startups, there's one shift that's happening, at least with landing pages. In the past, landing pages were owned by the product team. Today, a lot of companies give the landing page ka ownership to the marketing team because they're like, yo, you actually don't need product people for this, right? We'll give you whatever tracking links or whatever you need. But that core landing page, they consider it part of marketing, and they're like, use a tool like Framer or Webflow to do it because your time to deployment is important. How quickly, you're able to make changes is important. I feel like those already solve this far better than needing to use AI. So I feel like this, it's cool because this was never possible before. And, it's basically AI is looking at it and saying, okay, I'm going to replicate it like this. So both the ability for it to look, to understand, and to understand, I'm using very loosely here, and to actually reproduce is pretty cool. But I don't think if you're building a landing page, you actually need this right now.
Yeah, but I think most cool products always begin as some sort of a toy, and this feels like a toy right now.
Yeah, what I like, right, and this is something I've been seeing with AI as well. When we work on some of these tools, we've started to learn this, that if you can just give enough context to the AI, and now it feels like earlier, if you're using a diffusion model, then your only way you could give context, let's say we're doing text to image, is through more text. Then we said, okay, you can do, you can send text, then you can use control net, you're giving references, right? So what's happening is you're just giving AI guidelines, be like, this is roughly what I have in mind. I don't have the exact output, but I can show you enough clues to reach the output. It's almost like you're giving AI a puzzle and you're like, make this. I feel like with GPT Vision, what Sid has done here is saying, I'll give you a little bit of text. I'll give you an image, a mock-up, and you put them together and make this thing, right? So I feel like, Tanmay, your saying of the world is now rewarding people's taste is absolutely true, because if you know what you want, then you know what it sounds like, looks like. Let's say you want something like Tom and Jerry, but you can't actually, what's that game? That Taboo, where you can't actually use the word, but you have to give n number of references that sound like the word, right? So, or that reference the word, but not, you can't actually use a bunch of blacklisted words. So if you're trying to say Batman, you can't use dark, you can't use night, you can't use a bunch of words. So it's almost like that you're playing Taboo with the thing.
Yeah, but you can use words like Anath.
yeah. I mean, I know it sounds weird. But I bet you can do this with GPT Vision right now. It's an obvious experiment everyone can try. Go draw an image. Actually, don't even draw Batman. Draw a person. Say, draw a line and say, this man is an orphan. Actually, let's do it right now. I'm going to draw a man. Okay, we're playing Taboo. So I'm not going to use common keywords. Okay, I'm just going to write who. Okay, orphan.
Superhero.
Taboo, right? It's too common. Rich, let's say fights crime, costume. Okay. Without context, I'm just going to dump this in GPT and see if this works.
Absolutely lowest level use case of GPT Vision we demonstrate every week. What would dumb people do with GPT? This is what we are experts at.
Batman. See?
क्या मजा है ये करके? What are you trying to demonstrate?
Nothing. I'm just saying that the way AI is working right now is you just have to, even if you don't know what the end output it is you're looking for, or even if you have an end output and you don't know how to create it, you don't know how to create a particular piece of art, you don't know how to create a particular piece of text, you just have to give it enough clues.
AI rewards clarity of thought. It rewards the violently expressive. It rewards purity of taste.
And it kind of rewards IQ as well, right? Like if I give you a
100%.
word and I'm like, can you think of 5 words that sound like this word? You're actually much more powerful when it comes to using AI. That's what, the best prompt engineering course is just go pick up a Renan Martin book.
It's not just that. It's actually it's really clarity of thought, which is how deeply do you know what you want? Because then you can describe what you want in 100 different ways. Like I deal with this in getting client briefs all the time, right? Like because I have to write stuff for other people, the worst are those who just actually don't know what they really want. The best are those who know what they want. So even if I have any doubt, if I'm stumbling, they're able to give the best advice and just direct you in the right place. So it actually rewards intelligence and clarity of thought. That's what it actually does.
There's one piece I disagree with AI, right? Like there's this popular saying that, hey, nobody's going to replace agency people because clients don't know what they want. And we are the people that help clients figure out what they want. The problem is, I don't think it's a good argument anymore, because the clients need not know exactly what they want. They just have to say, Aisa chahiye, I want it to pop, I want this, I want that. And the AI will generate something. And if the client doesn't like it, it doesn't matter, because in a few seconds, the AI will generate the next thing. So the client can spend weeks going through like hundreds of different iterations and be like, this is the one I want. So I feel like when you have ambiguous clients who are not clear on what they want.
Dude, you've not worked with a lot of these clients because even AI will give up.
Yeah, I'm counting on AI not to give up, where I know humans do.
Even AI will be like, sun, baki prompt aa raha hai, the other prompts are making more sense. I'll see you later.
Bard ko leke ja.
No more iterations.
Bard mein ja. Sorry. So there's a new paper called Animate Anything. It's AI, where you put in any sort of image and then you can control a virtual skeleton to make it do whatever you want. And it is fairly accurate. Okay, so check this out.
Yeah.
So you can put in any image. So let's say I put in this image. Okay. And then you can manipulate a skeleton. Let's say you're moving the hands or whatever. And it almost perfectly renders that video output. This is damn cool. This is very useful for anime. This is very useful for, it's like, the way it works is it's very similar to ControlNet, except this paper has something called ReferenceNet, and the consistency of this model is unparalleled. Like, take a look at this messy video. Okay, I'm just going to show you this messy video. So check this out. This is the image, and they're just moving around the skeleton, and it's moving the hands around. This is too good.
This is too good.
Yeah.
And this is very useful for scam. Nowadays, I'm seeing too many deepfake ad videos where there'll be Mr. Beast in a podcast, and then Mr. Beast is like, I'm giving up all my money. And if you go to this app, and it'll be some shitty app, then you should download the app and then I'll give you guys free money there. It's like, and whenever I share it and I'm like, this is scam, they block me. That page blocks me. So these are like aware people. Now with your hands being able to move, you being able to point at things.
So how do you create this base skeleton?
It comes with this base skeleton. So ControlNet has something like a pose estimator called DW pose. It's like one of their best pose estimators, right? Let me show you what it looks like. This is from any picture. You give it a picture, it'll estimate the pose from that picture. So if you send it this picture of this ballerina, it will estimate this picture, right? In fact, open pose online. There's an online editor for open pose. Let me show you what it looks like. So I get this skeleton, okay? And I can move the skeleton however I want. Let's say I want to twist this. Like most people don't know that you can't move any of your body parts. You're always doing rotations. Anyone who's worked with 3D knows this, right? So if you want to move this hand ahead, I'm actually rotating the elbow. Right. And even when you move forward as a human being, you're actually rotating different joints in your leg to move forward. You're making a, like a cycling motion to go ahead. So it's all rotations. And let's say I have a character who maybe I want the character holding 2 bags. Then this would be the image I feed into ControlNet. Because we learned very quickly with ControlNet that you can either take an existing image that that's already there on the internet of somebody holding bags, but you can't cover all the range of poses. Maybe you want a very specific pose. So something like this is absolutely great for it. So you'll be feeding this into ReferenceNet, the new paper that has come out. And you can keyframe every frame and you can be like, okay, first frame I want the hands up, second frame I want the hands down. Just dump in an original picture, maybe even a picture of yourself, and you have yourself dancing to any TikTok reel or any TikTok song or any Instagram reel song that you want. The implications are insane. A, you will see a lot more anime characters dancing to different music on your Instagram feed. And B, this is not limited to just animated characters. You can take a picture of yourself, like a high resolution picture of yourself, head to toe, dump this in, use open pose, keyframe all the frames, and then finally you can now produce irritating reels without you having to be there in the frame yourself. You don't have to wait for perfect lighting. You don't have to wait for perfect weather, etc., etc. You can just be like, fine, this is the character. These are the frames. That's the world we're entering.
This is crazy. This is going to take like deep faking. Right now, deep faking is limited to like faces. Okay, I have a base video. Let me put someone else's face in it. But this, you can take someone else's faces in it and make them do anything you want with them.
I'll tell you one more cooler use case of this, okay? See, doing text to video is hard, right? Even the text to video models right now, they're getting better, but it's nowhere close to, you can't make a full motion picture with it. But with something like this, let's say you have a picture, or let's say I'm standing on top of a mountain, right? And use generative fill to remove the mountain from behind me and put me in an even better place. Let's say you're putting me in like a palace or something behind the scenes, right? Now, generative fill will make sure the lighting matches of that plus me, right? If you do it smartly. Now, you can make me start moving, right? Because if you look at this, the background's not moving in this particular one, right? It's only the character that's moving. The background's seemingly consistent. So you can have a very consistent background. So I can be anywhere I want. You have like virtual sets, right? In a way. And for all the effort and time we put fine-tuning models for audio or using HeyGen for the video, now you have the hands and body that can move around, right? So if I'm in the video, if I'm saying 2 times, somebody's done this 2 times or somebody's done this 3 times, you no longer need to look for, so I've actually, in my fine-tuning video, we fine-tune very differently from other people. We don't just stop. Towards the end of the fine-tune, we'll do 1, we'll do 2, we'll do 3, we'll do 4. Like we'll show our fingers, right? We'll hold it up. We'll be like, yes, no, whatever. We do a bunch of things. It'll be there in the source footage, so we clip it out. And we're like, this is useful, right? But with this, if there's some pose I need to do, then somebody else can sort of, do it for me. Like my editor can do it for me. A content creator in the next 10 years, it will be you in some cases, but it can also be a skin that your video editor puts on when you're not available, which gives you double, triple, quadruple output, right? You can output so much more as long as you trust those people. And it was limited to face and lips till now, but now it's, you have your entire body to work with. So you can be in like, I don't know, wherever you want to. Like there are sometimes like brands will reach out and be like, hey, can you travel to this city, this country for like 2 hours and vlog our place or whatever. I almost always say no to that. But with this, you can now do that, right? Just be like, send me a picture of the place and we're happy to do that for you. Because at the end of the day, all they care about is the actual piece of footage, right? You can do that with this. So this is pretty cool. But I'll show you something else that I saw in the middle of all this, okay? Which, did you know this AI lady is making $11,000 a month?
Oh yeah, I saw this.
Really AI generated.
She basically sells pictures on OnlyFans or something.
They became sick of models and influencers that they created their own with AI.
Now you can I can just input her face and say, generate this girl doing other things also, right? Like that tech is here, no?
What other things?
Whatever, this girl is riding a skateboard. Is this possible on Midjourney now? If I put like 5,
It's possible. Yeah.
what is it called?
IP adapter. So you don't even need to train a custom model of it. With IP adapter, you just need to put 3-4 pictures of the person and it'll capture the face. And there's IP adapters have models specifically for faces. It's called IP adapter face.
Is this on Midjourney? Where is this?
It's on Stable Diffusion.
It's on Stable Diffusion. So these guys are probably using Stable Diffusion, right, to get the same girl to do.
Yeah, probably. But you can see in many of her pictures, it's not the same girl. Whoever's done this has not done this very well. Like you can tell that this face is very different from this face, is very different from this face. It's 3 different people. It's very subtle, but you can tell, right? It's kind of there, but also not kind of there. But yeah, I don't think this is like, as a content creator, I don't think it's a very sustainable thing to do, because the minute people know your AI, they lose interest.
I think this is more like a fad. It's like a quick thing. I
This
don't
is
think
more to con the media. Like, you go tell the media, I've made an AI influencer making money, they'll lose their minds. But this is not a very sustainable thing. You might have made $11,000 one particular month, and then you're going to hit zero in like a few months. There's one really cool thing that I saw, okay? I want to show you. Sorry, everything in this subreddit is pretty cool. But so we now have text to video dream booth for motion, okay? So if I have, let's say, and it's a new text to video diffusion model. So if I have a person lifting weights, okay, that's a concept. I can feed in the concept of this person is lifting weights. And then, I can type in the prompt saying a bear is lifting weights or a dog is lifting weights. It's not 100% accurate, but it's kind of there, right? This is really good if you have, like, let's say a shot of a city and you're like, I want to show the city in a post-apocalyptic world. So as you can see, this is like a flying shot of a villa in a garden. And now you can just be like, okay, I want that to be a pyramid in a forest. And you're not even masking that piece out. You're just saying a pyramid in a forest, because as you can see, the trees here are different from these trees. So this is like, it's pretty cool. It's like matching the cam. It's just getting the concept right.
Yeah, this is basically, it's like ControlNet plus plus plus.
It's actually not ControlNet. It's more concepts. Because as you can see, it's a car is running on a road is a weird concept, right? Because cars don't run.
Maybe I'm using ControlNet wrong, but it's like once you get a vague idea of perspective of what you're looking at, from where you're looking at, where in space are you looking at it from?
This is exactly what I meant, right? You feed the AI enough references.
Correct.
And you can sort of get to the exact output you want. Like, it's your vision combined with, okay, I've seen a similar scene here. I've done this. It's almost like, it's like creativity. Like, I don't believe you can ever come up with an original thought, right? All your thoughts are mixtures, remixes of other people's thoughts or things you've seen or things you've consumed, you've been exposed to. So I can't think of a new color, right? A, because it's not possible for humans. And B, it's also like you are remix, all colors outside of primary colors are sort of remixes. It's creativity is like that. But the cool thing about this is you can say, well, here are my 3 inspirations. I want it to sort of be like this. Give some output that is your own generation, but uses this in amalgamation. And I think we will do this in music, because you like a song, you're like, I want 5 more songs like this.
Speaking of music,
So Google came up with 2 new music tools. One is the music tools that's going to be natively integrated into Shorts, and the second one is like a music production tool. The second one is kind of similar to what we did in our last episode when I was here, which is basically you can just hum and that will convert it into an instrument. So Tanmay basically did like a small kind of a beat and it basically converted that into drums. So it's something similar to that. But the first one is something where they've collaborated with artists like Charlie Puth, T-Pain, all these artists that we listen to. And they've cloned their voice. So it's kind of similar to RVC. They've cloned their voice and they have their own music generator. So they combine both these artists' voices and the music generator together in order to create something completely new. So let's say that if I want a song that makes me feel like I'm in the middle of Paris or I'm sitting on a mountaintop looking at the view, and I want that to be sung by Charlie Puth or Sia or someone else, it basically generates that song for me, which is completely original, which has never been done before.
Yeah.
So,
like how did Charlie Puth agree to this? Why did he agree to this? I know Grimes, this artist who used to date Elon Musk, who has a child with him and whatever. I remember her thesis was eventually this is just going to take over everything. So might as well, I license my voice, and if you make some money, then we'll go split season some way. But surprising that even large artists are like, this is inevitable. Let me just do this. By the way, I know YouTube is damn serious about this, because I saw Dream Track available inside YouTube, or there was some notification about Dream Track and monetization. Let me tell you what it is actually. Dream Track in Shorts is an experimental song creation tool that allows creators to create unique 30-second soundtrack with the voices of participating artists. It brings together the expertise of Google DeepMind and YouTube's most innovative researchers with the expertise of our music industry partners. Dude, this is super cool because you can monetize this and the artist will get some money of monetizing this.
Yeah.
But what are you really selling? It's essentially your voice, right? It's not a particular song. It's not a particular idea.
It's kind of like your voice identity, like your voice watermark or the way your voice is.
In a way, it's your identity, I would say, because it's not just picking up your voice from the song, it's picking up your intonation, it's picking up
the way
typically
you
how
sing.
you do song. Yeah, the way you sing, right? So in a way, it's picking up your identity, a piece of your identity. And it's so freaking cool that we can sell pieces of ourselves now and do it at scale.
Cool and all, I don't know, but it's interesting. Can we use the product? Is there something
No,
to look
not
at?
yet. Okay. This is really cool.
Baby, we've got nothing in common, but I know that I'm what you've been wanting for so long now.
That's pretty good output, actually.
Yeah, but like, let's look at the other one.
This one's less good.
Yeah.
I woke up in a sunshine state that's living large in me.
Okay, the second one wasn't as good as the first one, but now basically I can make fake videos and make fake audio.
Music.
तो क्या नसी काट लेते ना मैंचो क्या करना है कुछ करना ही नहीं है अभी. But actually for YouTube this is interesting because this is actually a real use case. Like there are times where I'm editing a vlog and I'm just so reliant on, okay, what is some copyright free Ritviz music that I can take? But I would love it if I can put in saying generate a 1 minute track with this feeling, this is what I'm doing in the vlog, this is the vibe that I want. And if it can generate like a Charlie Puth.
Yeah, but I don't think people see how this devalues to a certain extent creators. I'll tell you why. We have our intro track of Overpowered is by Nuclear. And it's such a cool thing for me, right? I mean, I know you knew Nuclear, but for me it was like, oh, Nuclear is doing like whatever. It's probably a piece he's done in the past and not used, but still very, very cool for me. Now, if I walk down the street and somebody says, yeah, even I have Nuclear in my first 30 seconds of my intro of my podcast, it feels a little bit like, less cool that we got.
But probably cool for Nuclear, whose personal brand and his style he can now monetize at scale. But yeah, this is great for people who find such a strong brand and style that they can now probably monetize it. But I'm sure if I was the artist and I was watching people use what AI thinks is my style, I'd be a little like, this is not me.
Yeah.
That's not me. It doesn't feel like me. Like I'd feel like,
in a few years, I think it'll be there.
Yeah, वापस शुरू हो गया ये. अब पहुंच जाएंगे, ये हो जाएगा, ये fucking boomer.
But look at the progress we made in a year. No, a year ago,
That's true.
We did this one reel on Overpowered about some music thing. And it was garbage, but we were like, hey, this is nice.
Yeah,
Today,
that's
it's like
because we
your
say this is
Charlie
nice for everything.
No, we said it's nice, but it was like a little bit unenthusiastic. But now you have Charlie Puth inside of a song, inside of YouTube. And just kudos to the culture of YouTube, because I know Universal Music would have taken the opposite approach. Like blanket ban. No, not allowed. Artist premium, no AI should be able to replicate them. But YouTube's like, this is inevitable. You can choose whether we have control over it and whether we make money off it. Or
No, YouTube's also just testing the ground, right? At the end of the day, artists will want to safeguard their.
But do you think
their
UMG would
interests.
have tested the ground? I don't think so.
Like, UMG is not a tech company, bro. They wouldn't have. Like they work on a commission model. Someone made an app, and they sent it to me saying, Tanmay, this is like a I made a chat bot avatar of you where people could chat with me, and I used it, and within 20 seconds with the first 3 replies I was like, I wouldn't say this. So if artists really want to be able to upscale themselves using AI, like they would have to be okay with how people use them. Like this is not just because the tech exists, people will agree to do it. That's probably it's not going to be as straightforward as that. I'm pretty sure like a bunch of artists will rebel. They'll be like, I'm not okay with this, especially those who've already made their money, right? Like people who've made fuck you money, they won't care about this stuff. Unlike musicians, like if Van Gogh were around, right? Like Van Gogh's painting style, or artists who from yesteryear who don't exist anymore, those will more likely be able to easily adopt, right? Like I was talking to someone who was thinking about using R.D. Burman's style of singing and trying to speak to his family, saying that, hey, I would like to recreate, his voice in like a song, and I as an artist would like to do a collab with R.D. Burman. That sort of stuff would probably be more seamless. I don't know actually. If I was Beyonce and if anyone could make a track
But
using
I'm
my
only
voice.
thinking supply demand economics, because I think scarcity always increases the price of something if
Yeah.
it's also wanted.
If you could take Beyonce's voice and create any song using Beyonce's voice, does that devalue Beyonce for you? It
No.
might be really cool
don't think
the
so.
first 5 times.
No, I'll tell you why. Because I've done a song with Snoop Dogg, right?
Yeah.
Remember we did that influencer song. We had a pretty good Snoop Dogg model, right? So the song was good. But what we kind of realized is Snoop Dogg then put out some post of a month or two ago about I've quit smoke. I don't know if you saw that.
I saw
Twitter,
that.
he
I
said,
saw
quit
that.
Smoke. And everyone's losing their mind. Like, how can Snoop Dogg do that? And then 3 days later, he came out and like, here's a smokeless stuff. And
Yeah, it
stop
was a
using
brand deal. Yeah.
It was a brand deal, right? That first post still got like tens of millions of views, probably like 70, 80 million views.
Yeah.
I don't know what the exact number is. It was huge. So has Snoop Dogg lost any brand
No, in
value
your
because-
eyes, if you
No.
could use Snoop Dogg's voice
but
whenever.
also, I wouldn't hire Snoop Dogg to do music anymore. Not like I ever would, but maybe Indian artists at some point we would hire them to do it. Now it's debatable. I'm not like 100% sure I would do it, because if it's that easy, and like this Nuclear example, right? Like I feel cool and almost like, I got lucky that Nuclear is doing music for a thing that we are doing. I'll find it uncool that 10 other people have access to it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if artists would want to be scaled. I don't
Yeah.
know if they would be open to doing it. So I'm actually surprised Charlie Puth actually was
Same.
okay with this. It's like
Same.
super surprising.
Yeah, but I also kudos to those artists, right? Maybe they're just saying that.
Testing it out,
Also,
saying
also the artists are at so much more scale that I'm sure they're waking up every day, they open Spotify and they're like 50. The volume is just too much. They're like, because the models are not like owned by Google, right? Like you can also make your own Charlie Puth voice, fine-tuned voice model based on any open source repository, and it's now getting
Yeah.
one click. So a Charlie Puth, a smart artist would be like, this is inevitable. Either people are going to pirate this and I'm going to go on YouTube and sue everyone, which takes 10 years in India and for pittance of an outcome. By the way, in China, they upheld, so somebody had sued the other person for using AI or whatever based on their art. And the court in China said, no, this is original. So it depends. No, you can prevent somebody in America from doing it, but somebody in India is going to use a Charlie Puth song. I mean, Charlie Puth model and make his own song. What are
yeah,
you
but
gonna do?
it's
Sue them?
different. Varun, it's different when Charlie Puth officially licenses out his voice
100%.
and says anyone can use it now, and
100%.
or just a bunch of people using RVC or whatever and cloning his voice. It's different when he officially does it.
But maybe what Charlie's thinking in his head is, yo, this is inevitable. There are going to be like a billion clones of me, and I'd rather make money off it.
I don't know how I would feel as an artist. It's up for debate. Someone or the other will do it, and we will see what the end
Would you
result.
be okay with it that somebody takes Tanmay and does stand-up comedy with the Tanmay skin on?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I wasn't okay with the chatbot also, because like at least in comedy's case, it's like, what the fuck will AI spit out? If it's not funny, if it's outrageous, offensive, I would be like, yo, I have nothing to do with this. But I think it would be similar in a musician's case also. Imagine this model that Google has, and people are making these like garbage shots with Charlie Puth's voice on it. Like, do you think he's going to enjoy that? He's going to be like, yuck. Why am I associated with something that I don't have 100% control over? I don't know if artists are going to like that. So I don't know if it's going to be that ubiquitous that soon.
Tanmay, text to video is getting better. I think the main use case will be stock footage, cinematic footage. Here's a trailer of Pika Labs and their new model and their new outputs. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so the product isn't out yet, but I'll actually reserve my judgment until I actually use the product. There's text to video. A lot of the demos that come out on Twitter are all often stunning and like it's really cool. They show you the absolutely best outputs and but whatever I have used of text to video has been kind of garbage so far.
Yeah.
But Pika, this particular one actually seems like it's okay. It feels like there's a wow factor to it, which is wow, text to video has gotten so good. But I'll actually trust it more when I see it.
It's just impossible to give to have a perfect vision in your head and make that play out on video with a text to video, at least in the near future. I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
It's like you want an elephant in the scene, you want a particular scene, and you want the elephant to walk 50 steps to the left and then take 2 steps to the right. In the real world, what you do is you'd have to train an elephant to do all that, then shoot a particular shot. You probably have to shoot it 3-4 times. The director is not going to be happy with one step on the left foot. So it'll be like, I want to redo it. Or you'll use CGI where you have perfect control. That's why we started using CGI for lots of animals, right? Because just training them became a nightmare. And we're like, we have to go now. We have to take like 100 shots. So I think that perfect fidelity is very tough. It's also very tough with images, but with images, if you're just doing a one-off image and you don't care about consistency over half an hour, 1 hour, you're fine generating 100 things and saying this image looks good, let's use this. But with video, I don't think it's the case. But also, if you're doing just like the moon or like a view of the earth or like some stock footage of trees, then this is great.
Yes. Right now, it feels like a lot of different folks are trying to solve different problems in the text to video space. But yeah, the winner is going to be the Photoshop, but for video, where the ability to taking an existing piece of video, making changes in that, have a video version of generative fill, and or be able to create something from scratch, like all of that in one go. Like I know
think it's
there's
all going to be in Premiere Pro. Like
Yeah.
it's just such an obvious, and Adobe's done exactly that with Photoshop, right?
yeah.
So it doesn't matter that this exists. Adobe is going to be like, let's put this in Premiere Pro.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you want to change format. You want to like, there's a very cool feature in this where you can just take, some piece of clothing and you can replace it with something else.
Yeah.
This is so useful. And
yeah, it's generative fill, but for video.
yeah, and I think it also allows you to create a lot of synthetic training data.
Yeah.
Right. So let's say for Dream Booth, if you want to clone somebody's face, in the training images, you're supposed to give many scenes, many different types of lighting, many different types of clothing. Because if you have the same kind of clothing in all the photos, when you generate that face for a person, it'll also generate the same type of clothing. It overfits, the model overfits. But with this, you can generate so many different types of Varuns, right? In different lighting, in different clothing, that you can actually train a specific model on me. That's one, use case. The other use case is you've made a synthetic avatar using HeyGen, and it looks the same. The background looks the same. Well, now you can keep swapping it. Be like, fine, let's change the shirt, let's change the background, let's change the hair a little bit, let's ruffle the hair up a little more. I think this is an art, and the tech just makes that art, even better, even cooler. But your limiter is the ideas, like we've discussed a million times.
This is pretty cool. I can't wait to use the product.
So SDXL Turbo is a brand new model. Let me just show you the trailer. When you type, it immediately starts generating. It's instant generation, basically.
Whoa. Dude, what the fuck is this?
This is a new Stable Diffusion model, Stable Diffusion XL model called SDXL Turbo.
So just tell me quickly. Just tell me 3 things quickly. Anything. Come on. Just tell me what to type.
Okay.
A tiger in a Bugatti.
A tiger in a
Bugatti.
You saw that speed?
That's crazy. Okay, now write.
Tell.
A man eating French fries, walking on the road while talking on the phone in Mumbai, India.
Sorry.
That's
insane. That's pretty
the
cool.
moment it said Mumbai, India, it's like all the fancy buildings.
Yeah.
That's so sad, dude. This
Yeah.
is really cool. This
This is
allows
very cool.
nearly real-time reskinning of everything, and I'm just so excited.
This is pretty crazy actually, because already with like my dopamine threshold is so low that I'm already getting irritated with Midjourney. Every time I put something in Midjourney, I'm like, why does it take this long to generate an image? But this real-time thing is like, it's
I'll tell you
really
the
insane.
best use case of real-time image generation. The best use case is if you use this along with ControlNet inside a game, you can reskin the game. Let's say you're playing Age of Empires and you don't like the fact that it was made, 2 years ago. You want everything to look different. You can just prompt. Just before you start the game, you just be like, today I want my game to look like, I don't know, all futuristic characters. And you have that. Can you imagine how cool that is? You have GTA and you're like, okay, I want everything to look like this, or I want my main character to look like this. I remember in a game called Dota, my brother, who was very young and poor at the time, like 4-5 years ago, because he had no pocket money, he wanted to buy Dota skins, right? So he wanted to buy like a golden skin for a character. He couldn't afford it. He was still in school. So he found some hack or some, low client side thing where you can download it and it'll give you that skin. Only you can see it. Nobody else can see it, but it gives you that skin.
And there are now tools like Reshade. Okay, check this out. Reshade.me, where you can install this on your computer, and any game you play, let's say you're playing Age of Empires, you have a much cooler version of, Age of Empires that's running. It looks very good. Let me show you an example of this. The most reshaded game is Spider-Man. I want to show you what it looks like. So this is an accurate reshade. Okay, but the game looks different. You can see that it looks different. Okay, I'll show you some more reshades. This is a realism reshade. Feels very cinematic. So just like this, now it's no longer about making it a little more cinematic or adding a little bit chromatic aberration. Now you're like, yo, I want Spider-Man to be, I don't know, Superman. And you have that, and you have a consistent experience. All your buildings look a certain way. So I'm really excited about this. And I think if once you have the glasses, right, and you have a camera like the Meta Ray-Ban glasses, and let's say, actually, it wouldn't work with the Ray-Ban glasses, maybe the Oculus, right? You put on the Oculus, you have a camera, and the Oculus is seeing the world. And like, I hate the world I'm living in right now. I want the entire world to be, I don't know, Christmas. I want my entire room to look like Christmas. You can do that. You no longer have to put up with boring. You can be in a small, tiny room and be like, I magically want the entire room to be clean, even if it's really dirty. And you just ignore the fact that it's dirty.
So what did SDXL Turbo, what did they do to make it like real-time image generation?
Yeah, so it's mostly the reduction in steps, okay? So let me show you what steps are, okay? So this is step count, okay? So at 2 steps, as you can see, so what diffusion models do is first they take an image, then they put noise on the image. They apply a lot of noise on the image, okay? And then they denoise the image over time, over each step. So in 2 steps, you can see that the image is still noisy.
Correct.
Okay. In step 4, it's still a little bit noisy. You can see some of the noise. But by the time it gets to step 20, it's starting to look like it makes sense.
Correct.
Now, so my understanding from what SDXL really did is they took this 20-step output and put in 1-step output. So SDXL Turbo uses a novel distillation technique called adversarial diffusal distillation. So in a single step, it generates what would have usually taken 20 or 30 steps.
Yeah, but
so
how?
That's the new technique. It's called ADD.
This is also like presciently named.
Yeah. So it uses score distillation where the model learns from existing image synthesis models. It's like it's seen what the inputs are, it's seen what the outputs are at 30 steps, and it learns from that.
That's crazy.
Right.
This is probably the first time where Stable Diffusion has like an obvious big delta over Midjourney.
Midjourney is going to have it almost within the next few weeks. I can bet on that.
Yeah. They have to, because I'm assuming the user experience on this is like 5x better than the current way, which is to wait each time you're generating.
Dude, I just love the fact that you can look around the world at some point in the future and just reskin it. You can learn any game, anything we see, right? Like we can just be like, okay, I want everything around me to look futuristic. That is so cool.
All right, friends, that's a lot of AI for this week. Thank you for tuning in. Go check us out on Instagram if you're on YouTube, and check out Sid and the 100x engineers. And if you guys are interested in AI, you guys should definitely go check out the new cohort that's launching. Sid, do you want to quickly tell us something about that?
So this is a new cohort. It's the Generative AI cohort, and we basically teach core Generative AI. The first 2 months of the cohort, it's a 5-month cohort, and the first 2 months is essentially just playing around with Stable Diffusion. It's 2 months of Stable Diffusion, and we go all the way from just prompting simple stuff to actually fiddling around with it. Basically fine-tuning different models, making your own UI. There's something called Automatic in 1111, which is a graphical user interface that you actually get on Stable Diffusion. We teach you how to fine-tune models with that. We teach you how to fine-tune models without that, directly using Python. So it's kind of like starting from the top, starting from the simplest things and going all the way down, removing things layer by layer and going into the complexities of it.
So you're teaching them how to make models and put those models in their apps.
Correct. You can essentially make your own fine-tuned text models, your own fine-tuned video models, your own fine-tuned image models, and fine-tuned anything. Basically.
I'm glad somebody's teaching that in India. I think that's the next frontier, right? You want specific types of images, you want specific types of text, you want it to write like somebody, you want it to look like somebody. Fine-tuning will get you there.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Sid. Thank you, Varun. See you guys next time. Follow us on Instagram, and GG's.
Over and out.